We talk constantly about millennials. We analyze Generation X. Entire books are written about Gen Z. But almost nobody talks about the people born in the narrow window between them, the ones who grew up rewinding VHS tapes and later helped their parents set up Facebook accounts. A generation that learned two completely different worlds before turning 30. If you were born roughly between 1976 and 1985, researchers sometimes call you a Xennial. Not quite Gen X, not quite Millennial. Childhood happened mostly offline. Adulthood unfolded during the internet explosion. And that timing created a very specific psychology, one shaped by independence, adaptation, and a quiet skepticism about every new system that claims it will change everything. It's 1987. You're 9 years old. The house phone hangs on the kitchen wall, and if you want to call a friend, you dial the number from memory. After school, you disappear outside on a bike until the streetlights come on. No location tracking, no group chat, just figuring things out on your own. Developmental research has shown how powerful that kind of childhood can be. A study published in the Journal of Adolescent Research found that children with more unstructured play develop stronger self-direction and problem-solving skills. For many Xennials, that early independence became a lifelong instinct. Now shift to 1997. You're in high school or college. Someone shows you the internet for the first time. Maybe it's AOL, maybe it's a noisy modem dialing through the phone line. Suddenly, there's email, chat rooms, weird personal websites, but it's slow and strange and not yet everywhere. That timing matters. Researchers writing in Computers and Human Behavior have noted that people who encounter digital technology later in adolescence tend to treat it more like a tool than an environment. Xennials didn't grow up online, they moved into it, which is why many still feel comfortable stepping away from it. But here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. It's 2001, or maybe 2008. You're just starting your adult life when the world jolts. Terror attacks, economic collapse, layoffs spreading through industries that once looked stable. According to long-term data from the Pew Research Center, people who enter the workforce during major economic or political shocks tend to develop a lasting sense of caution toward institutions. Xennials had already learned independence as kids. Now adulthood confirmed something else. The systems around you could fail. That combination produced a generation that adapts quickly but trusts slowly. And you can see the result today. Picture a workplace meeting. A 40-something employee translates a confusing new platform to older colleagues while quietly explaining workplace politics to younger hires. Sociologists writing in the American Sociological Review describe midlife adults as a bridge cohort, people who often mediate between generations. Xennials fit that role almost perfectly. They remember how work operated before constant connectivity, but they also understand the language of apps, platforms, and remote collaboration. There's also a deeper psychological advantage that rarely gets discussed. Think about how many times the ground shifted during this generation's lifetime. Analog to digital, landlines to smartphones, newspapers to social feeds. Each transition required learning an entirely new system from scratch. Research in Generations Journal suggests people who live through major technological shifts develop higher cognitive flexibility later in life. They've practiced adaptation again and again. And maybe that's the real story. This generation remembers when boredom existed, when waiting was normal, when information sometimes took effort to find. But they also learned how to navigate a world where everything changed faster every year. That creates a certain steadiness. Not loud, not flashy, just the quiet ability to adjust when the ground moves. And in a century defined by constant change, that might turn out to be one of the most valuable traits a generation can carry. If some of this felt familiar, you might want to stay for more conversations like this. And if you know someone who grew up between cassette tapes and Wi-Fi, this might be worth sharing with them.